Hello, it's Lee here and welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a Banksia flower.
If you're not already subscribed to the channel, then hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that way you'll never miss another video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment for me. It all helps YouTube bring my videos to the surface, so it makes me easier to find, gives me a bit of a boost. First thing that I'm doing here is I've put the sky in with a mixture of cerulean blue and white. I'm using a palette knife. And that's hooker's green that I'm putting onto the page now, mixed with a little bit of raw umber. And I'm just roughly sketching that in, and that's going to be my shadows. I've also taken a sponge and lightly dabbed in some greenery back in the distance there. So I'm just going to tap in a little bit of sky over the green, just where you might see a bit of sky peeping through the branches. And now I'm making a brown for the branches out of raw umber, a bit of burnt sienna and some white. And these will be my distant branches, so I'm going to use a small brush, so it's a small round one. I'm just randomly putting in some branchy type of shapes. Higgledy-piggledy everywhere in the background. Most of this will be covered up, you won't see it. It's got to be there. So I'm going to now put in with a bigger brush some branches that are more towards the foreground, so because they're closer they need to be a bit bigger. Same mixture of paint, and now I've switched to an even bigger brush, and these are the closest branches to us, the ones that we can see clearly, so they are the biggest ones. And just popping a highlight, just used the same mix and added a bit more raw sienna into it and some white, just adding some highlights into the upper side of the branches. I've made a mix out of raw umber and magenta, and that's my darkest shadow on the trees. I'm just going to use a sponge to dab on some texture onto the branches now. I've started with the hooker's green to put in the dark colours of the leaves, and I'll go over these leaves presently with lighter colours and highlights, giving them a bit more shape and form. I've put a few into the background as well. The ones in the background just need to be shapes in the background. So now I'm mapping in my flower. Got a little bit out of shape there, so fix that up. There we go, fixed it up, more the cone shape. And I'm putting in a dark red or dark pink as my base colour. And then I'll add all the little flower, I don't know what they're called. They're like little stamens poking out of the flower everywhere. Just highlighting some of the leaves now while the undercoat of the flower dries. So I just keep adjusting my paint, making it dark, making it lighter, adding bits of yellow in, little bits of red sometimes when I need the colour to be a bit browner looking. So everything in the background is smaller than everything in the foreground. This canvas that I'm using is a canvas board, and it's 8 by 10. And I'm using acrylic paint. The colours that I've got out on my palette are cadmium yellow light, raw sienna, raw umber, magenta and vermilion and white and cerulean blue. I'll put a list of the colours in the description if you want to check up on what they are. And I've just been using, the first brush I used was a round brush and then I switched to filberts. So I've got 2 filberts there, the small yellow one, and then that red one is a bit bigger. So I'm going to start putting in the little flower. I think they're some sort of petal, I suppose. I don't know what you'd call them. It's hard to describe. Like little feelers. And I just layer and adjust the colour, getting lighter and lighter as I go. Give this flower some form. So that was the first layer is done, and now the second layer is going on. I'm not covering up all of the background colour of the flower, leaving some dark shadows in there. Give it some shape. This is the first time I've painted a Banksia, and I thought it would be really hard. I mean, this is probably not perfect, but it turns out okay. If you're not subscribed to my channel, can you please subscribe? If you're interested in art videos, I do some journaling things. I'm only learning journaling, so if you want to learn with me, jump on my channel and have a look. I've got a special playlist made up. I'll put a link up in the top right hand corner for the journaling playlist. I love the journaling, it's so relaxing. It's good fun. So I'm just getting my colour, it's still pink, but it's got more white in it than it had before, so I'm getting lighter and lighter as I come forward. And that's a little detailing brush that I'm using. Just building up all the petals and the layers, giving it its shape, trying to pay attention to the direction in which the little petals are sticking out. The very ends of the petals are quite light. I think I'm using white with the smallest amount of pink in it. And so far I'm happy with the way this flower is taking shape. Now I'm using pure white just on the very ends. That little highlight on the end of all of those little flowers, petals that are sticking out. And there's a lot of them. Mixing raw sienna and a bit of white, and that's going to be with a little bit of yellow too, but look at that. And that's my final highlight on the branches. Just now I bumped the camera when I was changing the battery and moved the settings on it, the focus. So sorry, this is a bit blurry. But here's the final painting. Hope you enjoyed watching. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe.